Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday morning yoga class. We will have a couple of moments in a supine position, which I would invite you to use to let your spine be relaxed, to let your spine to extend on the mat in a comfortable way. As today we will be exploring the ability of the spine to twist and to extend, what means to go in the back bends. So before we start the exploratory movement of the spinal column, let us just connect to the spine, and it's nice to start that in this horizontal position where you can relax the back of your body and let the spine to get the neutral position. And I would like you to make sure that you're comfortable with the back of your head to start with. So that means you don't want to feel that the head is falling too low. You might want to reach to the back of your head with two hands and kind of stretch a little bit the neck to adjust the chin to go slightly toward the chest, but you don't want to press it down, and then just release the head down to the mat. Some of you might want to use, maybe not now, but maybe next time, a folded towel, folded blanket to support the back of your head so you don't feel that you're collapsing too low. Yes, so I want you to make sure that you realizing and feeling that neck is the part of the spine. And then let us just adjust the hands, maybe a little bit away from the hips, palms facing the ceiling. And let's squeeze the shoulder blades a bit and then just relax them down. That way we're adjusting the top of the shoulders, allowing the shoulders to have some external rotation. From there, let's just get the thoracic spine comfortably relaxed way on the floor. That's where we have the curvature of the spine that brings us forward. So you just want to relax the spine one vertebra at a time. And then we come into the lumbar spine, the lower back. That neutral position means that you have a little bit of a space between your body and the mat. Some of you might feel that you need to bend your knees and reset the pelvis, and you're welcome to do so. So making sure that you are not tense in the lower back. And here we'll take a couple of exhales to allow the full body feel relaxed and comfortable on the floor. And as we're taking the breath through the nostrils in, taking the breath through the nostrils out, we want to notice how the breathing and expansion of the rib cage will be reflecting in the spine as well. Notice how expansion of the rib cage will be pressing the thoracic spine slightly toward the floor. Notice how exhale will relax the lumbar spine and also like relaxing this toward the floor in exhalation. You might feel slightly extension in the lumbar spine when you inhale, so try to maintain this in a moderate way, so don't allow too much of extension there. So let's have here 3 more exhales, with which I'm inviting you to bring your mind fully to be connected with the body, that we would need this connection, we would need this focus, we would need this mindfulness through the rest of the practice. And then make sure that your feet are a little bit apart, maybe like touching the edges of the mat. The knees are still bent if you have them. If you don't have the knees bent, so just bend the knees and get your feet wide. And let's drop the knees to the right. But keep the arms maybe even in T position or like a wider. Keep both shoulder blades on the floor. Keep your gaze up toward the ceiling and just notice slight rotation in the lower back. Not much. So it shouldn't be uncomfortable. It should be pretty comfortable here. But your thoracic spine and your neck still remains into their central alignments. Take a note here, and then just bring the knees back up toward the ceiling. Adjust the pelvis. Notice how you need to adjust the pelvis after this twist. And then drop the knees to the left. Keep your gaze up toward the ceiling. Keep your shoulders symmetrically relaxed on the floor. And just notice slight rotation in the lower part of the spine. Take an exhale and then return your knees up and notice how you need to adjust the pelvis to get back on the center line. Let's again drop the knees to the right. And this time you're going to take the right arm and take it around the body toward the left. Depending on how far you're able to reach. Maybe you're reaching just for your shoulder, or maybe your elbow or your bicep. Just rotate the upper body to the left while your lower body gently rotated to the right. And just notice sensation in all the soft tissues around the spine when you go to this very moderate twist. And then let us release the right arm back on the floor. Return the gaze up toward the ceiling and bring your knees back. Again, notice how you need to adjust the pelvis or even maybe shoulder blades and the back of the head after the twist. You want to start again from the midline. Let's drop the knees to the left, and this time take the left arm across and just touch your biceps, your shoulder, just where you can reach. Notice the rotation in the upper body a bit to the right. Your left shoulder blade comes off the floor. Your right hip probably is a bit off the floor, but it's a very moderate. And then return the left arm back to the floor and return your knees back up toward the ceiling. Readjust your pelvis, readjust your shoulder blades, return back to the midline. This time we're going to bring the feet closer together and closer to the hips. So as close as your knees are comfortable to be flexed. And keep your feet this time like a hip distance apart, and then bring your hands on the sides of the hips. And without lifting the pelvis off the floor, let's explore the pelvic tilt. So send your pubic bone up toward the ceiling, engaging the front of the body, pressing the lower back flat on the floor, and then release pelvis back to neutral. Let's go 2 more times. So just a pelvic tilt. Your hips are on the floor, just the pubic bone lifted, lower back press. It feels like a stretch for the lower back, and release back to neutral. One more time. Get this pelvic tilt. Hold that. Notice how to manipulate with the spine. You need to involve your abdomen muscles, and then release back to neutral. This time you would like to maintain your pelvis in neutral position, and we're going to lift the hips into the moderate bridge, keeping hands on the floor, and you want to maintain neutral spine. And notice how you need to engage your glutes here to lift the hips off the floor, and then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, bring it back down. Let's have 2 more times. So pressing the feet, pressing the palms to the mat, lift the hips only to neutral position. So you might feel a little bit of the stretch in the hip flexors and quads, but not much yet. And maintaining neutral position, keep glutes engaged. Notice how you need to use them to maintain neutral position of the spine and get back slowly down. This time, let's bring the heels as close, like scoop really at them as close to the hips. And maybe bring the hands closer to the body as well. And this time, lift the hips into highest position. You might want to walk your arms together or even interlace the hands and squeeze the shoulder blades together, pressing the heels and lifting the hips as high as possible. You should feel more stretch in the quads, and you should feel that you're forcing the thoracic spine off the floor by bringing shoulder blades together. But make sure your neck remains neutral. Your chin is up toward the ceiling, and very slowly, let's bring the hips back down. This time we're going to bring one knee at a time to the chest and rock from side to side. Taking the breath here. We'll then find a way maybe to roll into seated position and come through the side. So come into seated position on the floor, and let us get the legs straight here, maintaining straight spine. Take your hands on the sides of the hips to have some reference, and then bring the left hand in front, right hand behind, and twist in seated. So let us notice how we feel the twist in seated position. So in seated position, our pelvis locked because of a position of the legs. So keep lengthening through the crown of the head and feel how the twist happening in your thoracic spine. And maybe pulse here a little bit, like you're massaging your thoracic spine here a couple of times. Don't overdo the twist in your chin, in your neck. Maintain chin more or less aligned with the center of the chest, and return back to the center. Elongate here, then bring the right hand in front, left hand behind, and gently twist to the left. And again, you would like with inhale being lifted, and maybe have a bit of the pulses here, whatever feels right, to just warm up the thoracic spine. And then return back to the center. This time we're gonna slide with the right hand and drop the head. So we're exploring the side bend, and again, you might feel a little bit of the side bend in the lumbar spine, but mostly it's thoracic spine and neck. And if you feel comfortable, you can take your left arm overhead and extend a little bit the left side of the body. And let us play here with looking down toward your right knee, and then bring the gaze up toward the ceiling. Notice how you need to play with your arm. You might feel the restrictions in your left shoulder, so adjust this left arm the way that you're comfortable, and you try to keep your elbows straight. Again, I'm allowing you to experiment here with a folding forward, with opening. So it's like a twist, gentle twist in the upper body when you're in a side bend. So experiment here, notice how you feel in your shoulder. Notice this resistance in the shoulder, and then return back into the neutral position. Take inhale, lengthening, walking the left hand, dropping the head. And if you're comfortable, take your right arm over the head. Try not to be fold forward yet. And then just look up and then look down. So slight rotation of the upper body here while you're in a side bend. So just to explore the sensations and connection between this movement and your shoulder. And then release the right arm and come back to the neutral position. From here we will cross the ankles and come into the tabletop position. So take your time to set your hands shoulder width apart and your knees hip distance apart, and let us come into the rounded spine. Let us come into cat stretch, pulling the belly in. You already know that engaging the abdomen will help you to get the pelvic tilt, but this time first time we're adding the neck into the movement. So taking the crown of the head down. Just notice where you feel the tension along the spine, and then slowly vertebra by vertebra, let's lift the chin up and feel some stretch on the abdomen. Maybe even squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit. Try not to compress the back of your neck, so lift the chin only amount that feels right. And from here we will just go for the couple of free moves of the spine, rounding the spine, lifting the chin up. And definitely we would like to connect this movement with the breath. Inhale, lift the chin. Exhale, pull the belly in, rounding the spine. Last time, come into both position with inhale and with exhale. And then come into neutral. Then we'll bring the knees together just to have more support for the body as we're going to extend the left leg, remaining on the right knee, and then lifting the left leg off the floor. So you don't want to lift it high and feel extension. You want to lift the left leg only a couple of inches, maintaining neutral spine. Start feeling your obliques here, the side abdomen muscles working. Keep your neck neutral, and when you're ready, extend your right arm parallel to the floor. So hold the pelvis in neutral position, engage the abdomen. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the right hand down, bring the left knee down to the floor. Let's be on the left knee, extending the right leg and lifting the right leg off the floor. Keep the right foot flexed. Keep your glute working here and feel like you're pulling the belly in a little bit. Press the right hand to the floor and extend the left arm on the sides of the head. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the left hand down and just step the right foot forward, coming into this kneeling lunge. So I would invite you to maintain a neutral spine, so you're not coming forward. We're going to come to this later, but we want to maintain neutral pelvis position. That means the right knee is above the right heel, the left hip is above the left knee. Maintain it neutral, and we're going to take the arms into cactus pose where your 90-degree elbows here, and we're going to twist to the right and we'll pulse here. And as you pulse, make sure that you're not moving just your arms. Your hips are locked with this position and you're twisting in the shoulder, in your chest. So again, involving your thoracic spine twist, going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's return back. We'll change, stepping the left foot forward, making sure we're in neutral position here, tucking the tailbone under. You need to engage your glutes here, taking arms in the same position as cactus, and we're going to twist to the left. So your forearms should remain parallel, like in the plane, and you're not moving just your arms. You're trying to move the shoulders above the hips. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return back to the center And here we'll find our first downward dog. So first, set up your hands, a middle finger facing forward, tuck your toes. Your knees could be bent for the first time. Get your head between your arms and elongate here. And you would like to be aware of a position of the shoulder blades. You're not letting the shoulders to go toward the ears. Upper back is wide, pressing the floor away, taking your tailbone up and back, trying to maintain as neutral as possible your lower back. And then let's look forward and walk toward the hands, setting the feet hip distance. And just hanging here for a moment. Just a gentle stretch for the back of your legs, making sure the head is just hanging here. It's not very comfortable for us to let the head hang like that, but that definitely allows you to create the traction of the neck section. And then very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, let's come up into the standing position. Great. So shake your legs, shake your arms a little bit, and then we'll set up the feet hip distance, and we'll bring the hands to the lower back. And let's just first have the arms on the sides of the hips, and just try to maintain your ideal posture, and try to be relaxed in the glutes and relax into abdomen. So like you stand in your best standing position, but you're not really trying to maintain any control of the spine. So maybe notice that some of you letting the hips to collapse forward, or you can exaggerate that and let the belly to come forward and feel how you collapse into your lower back here. Some of you might at the same time might do this, keeping shoulders collapsing forward and keeping chin down, so you are rounding in your upper back. So let us just adjust that by first having strong legs, engaging the legs a little bit, engaging the glutes a little bit, engaging the lower abdomen, and maintaining the neutral pelvis. And then for the upper body, if you have a tendency to have this shrink chest, think of external rotation of the shoulders, even squeezing the shoulder blades together a bit, maintaining chin parallel to the floor, lengthening through the spine. So this is your ideal posture. From where we would try to go into the back bend, we're going to bring the hands to the lower back. We're going to have the glutes engaged, and then start bringing gaze up toward the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades, and like we're pressing the heart up toward the ceiling without collapsing to the lower back. So your hips are might moving forward, but not much. You're trying to create the opening in your chest from the moving shoulders, from squeezing the heart up. Feel that. Your neck is in neutral position. It's like you have a shelf here, and you keeping the back of the head on the shelf, so you're not dropping the head back. And then return back to your neutral position and be in control. So it means that you're not relaxed here, not rounded, but you are still maintaining this control. Let's this time have just the left hand on the lower back. Start lifting the gaze up, start lifting the chest up. This time we're going to take the right arm up. And when you bring your gaze, when you open your chest comfortably, you would like to move the right arm backward a bit. You might have restrictions in your shoulder. Keep your elbows straight and think more of lengthening up toward the ceiling, and only then going into back bend. Release back, returning back to the ideal postural position. Bringing the right hand to your lower back. Start lifting the gaze and chest up. Taking the left arm up, opening the chest. Feel that you're supporting your lower back from the glute. Feeling some stretch in the shoulder. And release the left arm up. Back down and maintaining neutral position. Let's hinge from the hips and come into fold. Very, very relaxed. Shake the head. So a contour pose for the back bend we're practicing. And then very slowly roll one vertebra at a time up into standing position. Exhale. So this time we'll come into the low lunge with the hip coming forward. I would invite you to prepare your blocks on the sides of the right foot to have them ready for you. So start with having hands on the hips and move forward. You should feel some stretch in the hip flexor. And with this position of the back leg, you will start creating the extension here in the lumbar spine. Then let's bring the right hand to the right side, left hand to your lower back, and open the chest up. Again, the same position that we practice in standing, lifting the gaze up, maybe squeezing the shoulder blades, but this time you're pressing the hips forward and you feel the stretch in the hip flexor, but your left hand is just controlling your lower back. Exhale, we'll maybe touch the blocks and press the hips back and just very soft fold like a contour pose for this back bend. Exhale, at the same time we're able to have some stretch for the right hamstring. And let us change the knees. Step your left foot forward, move the hips forward. So you start feeling the stretch in the right hip flexor, maybe having hands on the hips to start with. And then have a right hand on your lower back and left hand on the thigh and open the chest up. So instead of collapsing to your lower back, you want to open the chest. You want to keep this external rotation of the shoulder. Be controlled of your neck. Don't drop the head too low. And then use the blocks for support. Move the hips back, chest rounded, soft rounding of the spine here forward, maybe having some stretch on the left hamstring. And let's release the left knee. Let us return back with the right foot forward. And this time you have your left hand on your lower back. Start with moving the chest up, and we're going to take the right arm up. So start reaching up toward the ceiling, and when you achieved the curvature of the spine, you can just progress with the arm, pressing it backward a little bit, pressing the left hip forward. Take inhale here, and then release the right arm and move the hips back, rounding the spine. Exhale. Let us change, stepping the left foot forward, moving the hips forward, bringing the right hand to your lower back, opening the chest, taking the left arm up, and create this back bend in the lunge position. Exhale. Let's bring the hands both hands to the blocks. Move the hips back. Flex the foot. Exhale. And then we'll take the blocks away and come into the downward dog. So the main purpose of a downward dog today is to create the spinal traction. So shake your head, make sure that your neck is relaxed. Think of taking your tailbone up and back, making this as neutral in the lumbar spine as possible. You don't want to be rounded in the lower back. Hip hinge happening in the hips. And then drop the knees down to the floor. Let us again step the right foot forward, and this time you would take the block take the block and maybe having the block on the high end today, you would like to align the block and your left hand in front of the left knee, and you step in the right foot closely to the foot. So this is basically the hip distance position, right? So you don't have the right foot close to the block. You have it a little bit away. You will find where you need to be here. Having the left hand on the block, you're aligning the left shoulder to be above the block and bringing the right hand to the thigh, and you will twist to the right. So try again to have a twist in the chest. So your best way to align the right shoulder to be open above the left shoulder, twist the chin up toward the ceiling only as far as it feels comfortable in your neck, but you do have a twist in your neck. And here you will tuck the left toe and then lift the left knee off the floor. Continue to press the right hand to the thigh and twist. So make sure this time you're not collapsing to the left hip. You're holding your left glute engaged and your left leg is really strong. And if you're comfortable, you can take the right arm up toward the ceiling, creating the reverse triangle here. So ideally your left hand is under the left shoulder, right hand is above the right shoulder. Twist happening in your thoracic spine. You have slight tilt in your hips, but you're not collapsing with the left hip down. You're using your left leg really strong. Exhale, bring the right hand down to the floor, and if you need, you can go through the tabletop position into the downward dog. Exhale. Align the head between the arms, long spine. So you would like again to create the traction along the spine, and that will be counter pose for the twist. Exhale. Bring the knees down to the floor, and let us do this with the other leg. So we would need to step the left foot forward and place the block in front of the right knee. Aligning the right shoulder above the right block. Start with having the left hand on the thigh and twist. So twist happening in your upper body. You're lifting the chin up a little bit. And then from here, when you're ready, you're tucking the right foot and twisting. So twisting to the left, and on the last one is to add the left arm. If you're finding that you have a lot of restriction in the left shoulder, you always can have a left hand on the lower back. Otherwise, you're reaching up. And what is the main mistake here is to collapse to the right hip. So keep your right leg strong, engage the whole right abdomen muscle. So you should, if I'm gonna touch your oblique on the right side, it's really working to support you, reaching up, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your left hand down, drop the knee, and maybe coming first to the tabletop, then tuck the toes and come into the downward dog. Exhale. Taking another exhale. Let's drop the knees down to the floor and find your way all the way into the prone position on your belly. Having one palm on the top of the other, bringing the forehead down. Taking a couple of moments here to just relax, maybe shake your hips from side to side. And when you're ready, we will be lifting the leg. So first we will engage the right leg, pointing the toe, and we're gonna lift the right leg off the floor, keeping the knee as straight as possible. Your right hip is probably on the floor as well. And keep glute really strong. Pointing the toe, neck is neutral, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the leg, shake the leg. Pointing the left toe, engaging the left boot, lifting the left leg off the floor, thigh more or less coming off the floor, but the left hip is on the floor, so you're not rotating the torso. And just notice that your neck and shoulders are all relaxed. You're working right now only with the lower body, and then release and maybe shake the legs. Next time we will be lifting both legs, so pointing the toes. You're lifting both legs, and I want you not just to control the lift of the legs with the glutes, but also hold the belly button in. So engage your lower abdomen. Notice how that helping your strength of the lower back. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's release. Relax your legs, shake the legs. And this time we set the feet hip distance, so they're not maybe wide, they may be hip distance, not together though, hip distance, and we're going to take the arms into cactus pose, so 90 degree. This time we're not going to be lifting the legs, we're going to have a strong legs, we're going to press the top of the feet to the mat, and let's lift the chest and face off the floor. Have your forearms on the floor first, and as you lifted your torso, I want you to keep your glutes engaged and your lower abdomen engaged. So pull the belly button in and then lift your forearms parallel to the floor. Make sure elbows are not coming to the rib cage. You're maintaining cactus pose. Face is down, so your forearms should be parallel to the ears. Holding for 3, 2, 1, and let's rest. Exhale. We'll have two more sets here. So when you're ready, let's again find your legs, find your glutes, find your abdomen here, supporting the lower back. Lift the chest, lift the forehead off the floor, lift your forearms off the floor, and this time extend your arms like in a letter Y. So make sure you're not lifting the chin. Don't try to lift your chest off the floor with a neck. Find that you engage in all those muscles along the upper back to lift the torso, and then rest. Exhale. Taking the breath here, and one more time. Engaging the legs, strong legs. Arms are in the cactus pose. Lift the forehead off the floor. Lift the forearms this time. Make a fist and press the elbows to the rib cage, like you're pulling yourself forward. And notice that this variation will help you to get your torso maybe slightly higher, or at least it feels easier. Neck is neutral. Exhale. And very slowly roll through the cat stretch into the child pose, dropping the hips down, extending the arms, bring the forehead down to the floor. Exhale. Take a couple of exhales here. Allow your lower back to rest, as that was a quite intense work for all the posterior chain. And we'll have one more variation of back bend, and you will just be careful here and decide the range that's working for you. So let us come into the kneeling position for the camel pose. So the camel pose is very similar to what we did in standing, but we're just on the knees. So before we're going to go into the extension, we would engage the glutes, and we'll have both hands on the lower back, and we'll open the chest up toward the ceiling. Remember, we don't want to drop the head. It's like a shelf here that the back of the head resting. And think of opening the full front of the body, sending your heart up toward the ceiling. Gaze is up. You don't need to look behind. Just look up. Squeeze the shoulder blades, work on external rotation of the shoulders, and return back just in a neutral position. And just play a little bit with the glutes and lower abdomen engagement to maintain the neutral position on kneeling. It's a little bit harder than on standing because you can't use your legs. Thus, next time we will have just the left hand on the lower back. We're going to start lifting the gaze up, chest up, and we're going to take the right arm up and take the arm behind the head only to position that it feels comfortable. So if you feel that your elbows bend, you probably have some restriction to the shoulders. Be careful, release the arm, try to maintain straight. And release again, come to neutral position. Again, be in a focus of connecting to the pelvis position, controlling that. In neutrality, bring the right hand to your lower back, take the left arm up, and think more of a stretch in the frontal line. Bring your gaze up toward the ceiling, reach up, keep support of your lower back with glutes and lower abdomen. Work with the arm going backward only to degree that your shoulder cup is right here. And then release back, exhale. Come into the cat stretch, drop the head, feel some stretch in the neck and the lower back. And when you're ready, let's tug the toes and come into the downward dog, creating traction of the spine. So camel is second intense back bend in the yoga sequence, in a traditional yoga sequence. So we'd like to release all the tension of the back bend from the lower back, from the neck. For thoracic spine, it's always good to go into the extension. And then let's drop the knees down to the floor and use your two blocks to be on the right. We'll practice the cat pulling the tail as a calming twist. So I would remind you how we go into cat pulling the tail. We come into the right side of the body. Use this right arm as the pillow and get your left knee on the block. If you're using the bolster, it could be bolster as well. And then bend your right knee and reach with the left hand to the ankle and just pull the ankle a little bit. And if you're comfortable, drop the left shoulder and drop the head toward the left, creating the relaxing twist. We will be holding this position for maybe 2 minutes. So practicing the yin pose here. Exhale. So it should be comfortable. There's no rules. There is no rules of exact alignments. Anything that feels right for the left shoulder, for the right thigh, for the left arm, for the right ankle, for your spine is good for you. You're rotating the neck only in a way that feels comfortable. And just try to be as relaxed as possible. While you feel the stretch in the right quadricep, you would feel stretch maybe in the left bicep. Here, you are just holding it here. The rest of the body is relaxing. Taking here just a couple more exhales. Taking the last 3 exhales here, trying to be as relaxed as possible in the left shoulder. We'll then release the right ankle and slowly come into the midline, and maybe resting here in between the sides, aligning the spine on the center. And then we'll bring the blocks to the left. We'll rotate to the left side of the body using the left arm as the pillow, bringing the right knee and ankle to the block, bending the left knee, reaching to the ankle, pulling the knee back, and just rotating slightly backward, keeping the relaxed shoulders. So don't tense the right shoulder forward, let it go back, and we'll hold here the 2 minutes. Taking another 3 exhalations here. We'll release the left ankle and come back onto the midline, resting here for a bit. And then let us take one block and set your feet hip distance. Lift your hips up and place the block under the hips. Make sure you align in the edge of the block with the top of your sacrum, so you are not having the block under the waist area. The block is under the hips, so the lower back is kind of collapsing, so creating some traction on the lower back. If you feel that you would like to go a little bit higher, there's 2 options. You can place the second block under the hips, and but make sure that if you put in the second block, you still have a sense of traction rather than extension. It might be too much for you. If you don't have a second block, you can just turn the first block into the higher middle position and set here. So you would like to have your pubic bone lifted up and abdomen relaxed. Your arms are resting on the sides of the body. We will be holding that for 2 minutes again. What is important is to keep neck neutral, so control the back of the head. If lying on the floor you needed the blanket under the back of your head, maybe here you don't need it because you might be pressing the chin toward the chest too much, creating the flexion. You don't want to do that, so you would like to be neutral here. Try to keep relaxed shoulder blades. We'll have here 5 more exhales. To release that, if you were in a higher position, you first want to release it to lower position and take the spine to accept that. And then you would remove the block and slowly bring the hips down. Allow yourself to rest here for the moment. Feeling the work on the lumbar spine. You might not feel it when you lift it. And then we'll bring the right ankle on the top of the left knee. Keep flex the right foot and just allow the right knee to come away from the body. And here we're going to be lifting the left foot, flexing the left foot as hard as you can, pressing the left knee toward the chest, opening the right hip, maintaining neutral spine, maintaining neutral neck. So feel some stretch around the right hip, around the right IT band. Keep both feet flexed actively here. Use a bit of a strength of the left leg to press the right shin toward the chest. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the left foot down to the floor. Take your arms in T position and draw the right foot to the left. So the right ankle will be under the left knee and twist to the right as far as it feels comfortable for you. So you will at this time feel some stretch around the lateral side of the right hip. Exhale. You would control the both shoulder blades on the floor. You will be very mindful how much of a twist you feel in your lumbar spine. Should be almost none. The whole twist is happening more in the mid back here. Take it here, another exhale, and then find your way to release the right leg. And again, before we go to the other side, you would like to get your spine aligned back on the midline. Then bend your left knee, bring the left ankle on the top of the right knee, flex the left foot, and then we'll flex the right foot, opening the hip. Hips are square. Hold here, use the strength of the right leg, pressing the ankle toward the chest. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the right foot down to the floor and allow the left foot to get toward the right edge of the mat, creating some twist around the left hip, and you turning the head to the left as far as it feels comfortable. Keep relaxing your left arm to the floor. Keep relaxing your right knee and left knee toward the floor on the other side. Exhale, and then release the left leg, return back to the center. Readjust your hips, readjust your shoulders. And then let's just stretch a little bit the sides of the body. Extend your legs, extend your arms, and come to Bananasana. Moving your heels to the left, moving shoulders and head to the left, holding the right wrist and opening the whole right side of the body, maybe crossing the right ankle on the top of the left. Try not to roll off the floor with the right shoulder. Do your best to keep your right shoulder on the floor. Keep exhaling to the right hip. Keep exhaling to the right shoulder. Holding here for 5 more exhales. Returning the feet back to the center, returning shoulders back to the center, moving your heels to the left, to the right, moving your shoulders to the right, holding the left wrist, relaxing the left shoulder. Allow the breath to travel on the left side of the body. Opening that, we have a 5 breath here. And then bring your legs back to the center, bring your head back to the center. You might want to bend your knees to readjust your pelvis, and then just extend one leg at a time, extend one arm at a time to practice Shavasana. As we settle into Shavasana, let us take a couple of long exhales through the open mouth to relax the whole posterior chain down to the floor. Scan your spine from the pelvis all the way to the crown of the head, noticing that there is no tension. You're not holding your spine in any type of extension here, but you're trying to create the softness along the spine. Like your spine is a rope lying on the floor. Your best way to control those relaxed sensations, all the muscles that we engage today should be all relaxed. Let your breath to travel through the nostrils in and out comfortably. Allow your nervous system to rest after very intense practice involved your spine. When you're ready, add movements in your fingers and toes, circles and wrists and ankles. Add in bigger movements of bending knees, bending elbows, bringing knees to your chest, rocking from side to side. When you think that this is the right time, roll on one side and with the help of the arm, bring yourself into seated position, facing the front of your mat. Maybe allowing the arms rest on the knees first, lengthening through the spine. Taking a moment to feel the sense of open chest, feeling your shoulders relax, and then bring the hands in front of the heart. Thank yourself for being able to practice this morning, and hopefully this practice will keep your heart open to the positive energy that you will be receiving and you will be sharing through the rest of the day. Namaste.